Hi everyone, welcome to another Objective Secured unboxing. Today we're unboxing the Aledari Avatar of Khaine. Thanks very much for Games Workshop for sending us this model to review. So without further ado, let's check it out. So the box is your standard sort of monster-sized box, but it is on the thin side. It's not especially thick. Inside is the instruction manual, and we get a single frame, one single sprue. So there's the spear, that's mostly body, there's the axe, and then there's the sword, and there's the rest of the kit. I was really surprised when I opened this and only saw a single sprue. Avatar of Khaine rune there on the floor, nice and cheeky. It is a really lovely cast, very, very detailed. I haven't seen any flaws in it. I love that spear. That spear is definitely my choice for weapons. In terms of what we get in here, we also get an 80mm base, as was predicted by a lot of people online. Instructions wise, I've had a quick look at this. My biggest thing, obviously there's your three different builds there. The biggest thing for me is that this is probably the thing that's going to stump a lot of people. I know I'd intended to magnetize it because I wanted to have those two heads and those two arms in any combination I liked. It's going to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, mainly because of this. There's a different neck for each different head because it changes the angle that he sits on and obviously makes sure that the hair and the whatnot fit correctly. So that's going to be a real pain. Moving on to the actual rest of it, most of it seems like it goes together pretty straightforward until you get to here, which is the other part of the issue, because you're going to have to magnetize it two different ways. Once to make sure that the rest of the arm goes on, and then obviously once onto the way it attaches to the arm itself. It is very clever in how it goes together. Some of this sort of stuff where you've got two parts to the shoulder pads is interesting. And the chest rune armor goes on and sort of locks it all in place. There's the three different head assemblies there. I'm really conflicted with this. I feel like I want to do the Ares helmet, but talking to Emma about this, she made a comment to me and said, is it really an avatar if you don't have the crested horns and the big top knot, which I kind of get a point. So it might end up being a hybrid of those two with a spear, but with that head, because, yeah, I don't know. It might just see me getting more than one of them, who knows? The base is also in a couple of pieces. I know that myself and many others were interested in whether the fire pieces were separate. Looking through this, no they're not. A lot of it is contained within the actual pieces themselves, to the point that there's even a couple of pieces, these ones down here, where there's actually Eldar runes hidden within the fire. So it'll be very awkward to sort of cut those out and remove them. So I think for the first build round, I'm going to build it as it shows here, but like I say, it'll probably be with the spear, because I feel like it's just, I'm going to go back to my Rogue Trader era roots where he did have a spear. And we'll get him together, and I've got the Rogue Trader era, the Games Workshop, and the Forge World kits here, so we'll get a size comparison for you in a second once this is all put together. Until then, yeah, it's a really nice looking kit. I'm hoping that I can get some size comparison shots for you, maybe beside a Dread Knight or a Wraith Knight or those other sorts of kits. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it so far. The cast looks really good. So yeah. We'll be back in a sec with some comparison shots for you. Today we have the Aeldari Shining Spears. Now this kit was sent to us by Games Workshop. Thanks very much for sending it to us for the review. You obviously can see we get 3 miniatures in the box of the new plastic Shining Spears. So let's take a look. First thing we'll notice, and several people have mentioned this online, is we do have 60mm round bases, and they are the only bases in the kit. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they are ball sockets, like a lot of the modern jet bikes have been. You can see here the ball sockets on top of the pegs, but you do get 6 pegs. That's all right. There's the current new transfer sheet, which is great. Gives you everything you need for the kit. And then we get the sprues. Now there's only 2 sprues in this box. So here's the first one, which is primarily jet bikes. There we go. What was most interesting to me about this is they are essentially Windrider jet bikes. They looked in some of the photos like they were going to be a hybrid Shroud Runner, but they're not. So they are, for all intents and purposes, just slightly, that tail wing there in particular shows them as different. And they also have some extra wings mounted underneath. We do get quite a selection of heads, as you can see here. We get some unhelmeted ones, we get some Exarch ones. There's the Paragon Saber and the new Star Lance. We also do get a Shuriken cannon on the sprue. And like the Windrider jet bikes, the canopies on these bikes, as you can see, have the pop-up option there for the targeting array, which we didn't get in the Shroud Runners. Here's the instructions. So obviously this lets us build alternates, where we can build the Exarch, the non-Exarch, the non-Exarch Ynnari, and the Exarch Ynnari. So we do actually get a bunch of parts extra in this. As you can see, there's the 2 sprues there. The kit, if you've ever built any of the Windrunners, is going to look very familiar to you. All of that sort of stuff there is basically just building a Windrunner jet bike. The Exarch obviously has this cool little banner that sits on the back of it, and the slightly altered hull is obviously there so that the lance fits nicely. You do get the options for the arms, including the shimmer shield for the Exarch. Not sure if that's worth it or not, that remains to be seen. We also do get those extra 2 wings that sit under this engine cowling here, which is where the dual wing setup comes from. And there's obviously the alternate heads there for the Exarch. I like that we're actually getting multiple heads here as well, for not just Ynnari. We then obviously get the optional parts here. There's the lance mount, which I think is really clever how they've got that sat there so that the lance can rest on there. That obviously, this piece here obviously slots in to cover that hole in the event you do take the Paragon Saber, which there is one build for that I quite like. We move now into the standard Shining Spears. We do get 3 different slightly held lances there. And as you can see, I really like this touch here with the sort of the holder for the lance. And there are 6 alternate heads, 3 helmeted and 3 unhelmeted, obviously for the Ynnari. You can see with this one, he's actually got the lance resting in the rack, which is kind of cool. And again, we just go through that very similar build process there of building the Shining Spears. And again, selecting heads and selecting lances. And then we get told, don't glue it to the ball stand, and there's your squad. So they are essentially Windrunner jet bikes, which is quite interesting for me to see. I've got some converted Shining Spears that I made from the 3rd edition metal parts combined with Windrunners. So we'll give you some comparison shots of those side by side. We'll also get a comparison shot side by side with the Shroud Runner jet bike and with a Harlequin jet bike and with a Reaver jet bike, because we have all of those available to us. In the meantime, we're going to go away and build some Shining Spears. We'll be back shortly.